Hello and welcome to the 2021 Preserve Championship from Clearwater, Minnesota and the Airborn Preserve. You're watching the Disc Golf Pro Tour on JomezPro with BigSexyBarri commentary, Nate Sexton, Jeremy Koling, and Paul Ulibarri.
Let's get into that Grip 6 low profile. We've got Simon Lizotte. Got second place at this tournament. You know he's coming back for some revenge. 40 under par. James Conrad debuting his 50th Disc Golf Pro Tour event this week. Last year, 6th place. He was also right there in the hunt at the end. Gannon Buhr, who is a young player here on tour. We saw a little bit of him earlier this season at Waco. And Kyle Klein, fresh off his fantastic performance last week at the D-Glow, coming up one shot short of a playoff with Eagle McMahon. His scramble percentage is high, and he does so well on these golf to disc golf conversion courses.
Looking at hole one, par 4, 708 feet. The out of bounds here is the rough on the left and obviously the water beyond it. The wall you saw on the right side is not out of bounds. You would like to eat up as much distance as possible here. Being left side is nice because you're closer to the basket, but you're bringing that out of bounds into play. And then you play the crossing shot to this protected green. It's a little tricky because when you hit under the basket, you usually skip really far.
From Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, Simon Lizotte.
The Simon has an average of a 9th place finish on the Disc Golf Pro Tour since its inception. He is always poised to play in these big events.
You're going to see the mistake that they make, if there is one, is this right here, turning it over to the right because there is no out of bounds over there, and he's still going to have a shot into the green.
And even though it is farther away from the basket than I'm sure he'd like, the angle is not so bad over there.
From Blacksburg, Virginia, James Conrad.
James Conrad, cheer volume up 75%.
Yes, it is.
Since June. I'm not sure what that is, but he's up big in the cheer volume department.
Always has been a fan favorite, but man, that has skyrocketed, just like you said, Nate. The man who commits to his throw more than any other player in disc golf history, perhaps. That is a big drive, exactly where you want it to be.
That's fantastic.
Next up from Urbandale, Iowa, Gannon Buhr.
We dug a little bit into the metrics here going into this event, knowing that Gannon was going to be on our feature card, and looking at statistics of players who have played well on ball golf courses on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Gannon has never played on the Disc Golf Pro Tour on a ball golf to disc golf conversion course. So this is going to be a different style than we've seen from the young fella.
Another statistic is he is the tallest, lightest person in the field.
Pounds per inch of height. A new statistic. Kyle Klein not far behind.
And this is a player that everyone wants to see play right now. Riding high after winning the Mid-America Open earlier this season. Coming in second place in his home state of Michigan last week to Eagle. He is playing so well. Controlled disc golf, great putting. It's amazing to think that he's only 19 years old.
You see Simon here left with basically a straight shot. He's going to make it into a hyzer shot, but that's just to control the speed.
There's that big skip.
That's that skip I'm talking about. You push it to the basket, you end up with a 45-footer.
I like the idea of the hyzer just because it's coming in with that angle, but still, even with the angle, he's still got the big skip.
And you're going to see James go to a slower disc. This was going to be his putter. Nose up. This will stall left. Hopefully get right under those branches, and this will be still pretty good.
Yep, real nice.
That could have easily been on the back side of that bush with no putt inside the circle. So favorable result there for James, perhaps.
Love Kyle's style. He reminds me of more of a European type style of game that he brings to the disc golf course.
I could see that. Elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
Just the way that he pulls back, comes through. I feel like we've seen that from somebody like UC Maresma or something like that from way back in the day.
Kind of like a Jesper Lundmark in some way.
Yeah, great comparison. I couldn't think of the name, but
Nice little kick there.
And so Simon, I believe, is the only player outside the circle.
basically buttery smooth is what I was trying to get at.
Yes. Oh, great effort, just not enough drift right. Classic Simon putt, though. Just that little casual-looking, floaty, just didn't quite get enough. Tester putt for Kyle to start off, and he drills it. We've said this so many times that hole one, 27 to 30 feet, if you can make that putt, it just sets you off in such a wave of confidence heading into the round.
Tricky little stroke here from James.
Oh, man.
Makes do, though.
That's great.
Was talking to Kale after the round, and he said that there was over 700 spectators that showed up today out of the 1,000 tickets sold.
Wow.
So first day, I mean, I feel like that's pretty incredible.
Not even to the weekend yet. You know, a lot of those people are waiting to get done with their work week to come out here and root the players on. I feel like we should mention for any newer fans that this whole property is managed and run by professional disc golfer Kale LaVisca. So incredible accomplishment that he's been able to procure, get this land and get these amazing courses in the ground as we look at hole 2, double Mando, 318 feet.
This hole's been lengthened from the year before, and it made it from a pretty simple gap shot because you're right there in the gap. Now you have to navigate a little bit more space before you get into the tight woods. And James Conrad, doing his best James Conrad impersonation right there in hole 2, right down the middle.
That gap's laughable for that man right there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a gap, I don't think, to him.
That ceiling should be somewhat tough for a putter, but James is just so smooth with that.
This is going to need some luck. Doesn't get it, but he's through the mandatory. Nowhere does adding 50 feet matter more than a double mandatory, I think. Backing that up just really makes it so much trickier.
Kyle, that's looking really nice.
Nose up, controlled.
He is just such a thrower. He is one of the smoothest throwers. He really does have all angles. Great touch. This is looking great from Simon. Those are really 3 beautifully controlled shots down that fairway. They made it look big, but Gannon showed you a little bit more of the human side. That is a kind of a daunting gap.
Going with the sidearm approach here, I believe he wanted to put a little anhyzer on that to negate drifting deep like he did right there. That was just a misfire as far as an angle goes there.
Wow.
Okay.
That had to be nearly 50 feet. What a putt.
And to make the mistake there on the angle choice and then, take that time to walk all the way down there, you're still out. To have the poise to make that is incredible.
It's such a hard putt to make because you're so mad at yourself for putting yourself in that position. You already kind of give up a little bit. You're like, why did you do that? How are you going to bogey this hole? Then to step up and save it. Incredible.
Yeah, great stroke. Kyle, 14 feet, still not the closest.
James is going to win that CTP prize 83% of the time.
There can't be anybody in the world that you would rather have on this hole to throw than him.
Maybe the course designer.
Yeah, that's one of the guys, but I don't know. James is. That's
I'm Paul
a coin flip.
Ulibarri with today's Bushnell hole breakdown. You can find the Edge Disc Golf Rangefinder at the link in the description. Hole 3 comes in at 431 feet. With a fairway big enough you could march an army through, in this day and age, this could be considered a must-get. This is a perfect example of what it takes to be a pro on the Pro Tour. 431 feet of must-get. Well, let's see how it plays out.
The only out of bounds here is well left of the basket. Don't expect that to come into play. Although this
Until
does
now.
look like it's going left. I think this is still going to be safe. You see that path down there is what the OB line is. So you really have to, that probably came still 10 to 20 feet short of going out of bounds.
I think you have to have a slip, nose up, just complete
Sure.
shank in order to get to that OB. It's pretty generous.
Kyle keeping this one drifting right, and that's exactly what you want. At the very end, it's just going to fade off.
Mid-range?
Very well could be. I think that must be in mid-range. I didn't actually catch it on the top right of the
It
screen.
was a really slow flight. I think it may have been.
Simon's going with a PD. And I like this. Well, he doesn't like it. It's going to come out a little bit early, but you really want to start that down that tree line the whole way if you're going with the backhand hyzer. Otherwise, you're going to see that result most of the time just going down the hill, and that hill's quick. You can turn a 22-foot putt to a 32-foot putt in a second.
Looks like Gannon's going with the force over play. I'm not going to be surprised if this is a bit stable. Yeah, he doesn't get it over.
Yep.
It's going to be over there in James land.
It's hard to commit to that line just because that wood line would be such a mistake. You know, if you hit early tree right, it can gobble you up and spit you down the hill. And then from there, it can become a difficult par save.
Nobody in the circle, I don't think. Maybe Kyle snuck to circle's edge right there, but these are all going to be some jump putts on this high rise.
Gannon should be just fine on his par putt. You know where James is.
Where is James?
Yeah, well, he was in Conrad country.
Ah.
All right, we have one person left to save the card.
Let's see if he's a musketeer. Yeah, you called it. I think he's just outside the circle. Yeah, he's stepping it and high right and not sticking. And this feels like a must get in the last round, but I can understand these guys having a little bit of trouble on it.
We're not going to see another card.
Yeah,
All miss it.
I agree with that.
Typically, you see 2 out of 4, but when you step up to this, you're counting birdie in your head, really.
This course is just, it feels like it's been on tour for many years. It's absolutely surprising that this is the second year that we've played here on tour, but not only that, it's just over a year of being in the ground. It's one of the advantages you get with a golf course, I suppose, but it still has all the feeling of a really well-built course.
Yeah, you got a world-class designer who obviously has played all over the world and seen the top level of disc golf in every corner of the country and overseas. So going to present a world-class venue. This is a new hole. It's one of the hardest, I think, on the whole course. You need to get way right through the gap to set up the tunnel shot. Not really any OB to worry about. It's just a really tough position play. You need a lot of power. James has a lot of power.
And he's going the air shot, this is looking like it has great angle, but oh, no, it doesn't have enough to fight back. And that roll back is going to take James well out of position to have any look at birdie, I think.
Yeah, that would be a miracle shot
It'd
to
be
go
one, yeah.
get up there for birdie from there.
Correct.
Yeah, there's 2 trees down the fairway that if you can get right around those trees without them being your obstacle, you're looking pretty good to manufacture something into that gap.
Kyle,
Right there.
Nice stability. That's exactly where you want to be. I think if you could place it somewhere on the fairway, you'd maybe push it another 20 feet longer. Closer to that second tree is going to be a straighter approach.
Perfect. Oh, it's stable.
Yeah, it's stalling out.
It's Gonna go deep.
He's got all the distance, though, to have an angle in.
That's going to play 430, I bet, to the pin from there.
Yeah.
Gonna be a bit of an awkward hyzer, I think, in through the tunnel as well.
Fantastic change to the course, in my opinion. It really engages a different part of the course that we really didn't even know was there.
This thing better be the flippiest disc ever. Looks like it was pretty flippy.
Where is it? Oh, wow. Yeah, I think he's going to love that. Good look at the second shot. What is James going to do here?
He's just trying to make a miracle happen.
Oh, not a bad tree direction. Just kicking him up the fairway. And that should be an easy par save for James.
Do you think Simon ever thinks about going over the top here?
I'm sure he looked up.
He doesn't need to.
Why would you?
What a shot.
Oh
I didn't know his angle was going to be that good. Well, maybe his angle wasn't that good. All I know is that shot's phenomenal. I thought maybe he would be more cut off than that.
Yeah, that might be a Simon 5 years ago. Forced that over the top shot. But yeah, I think that he is reserved and skillful.
Look at this shot. Oh, my God, still pretty good. I mean, that was an inch from just being buttery right down the fairway. The angle control to have his body kind of come over there to dictate that flight was very nice.
Gannon flipping up, slowing down.
Wow.
Parking his approach. Beautifully played hole from Gannon.
James might have some sort of poke from in here. Oh, that's just a layup.
He's got a little bit of work, but that should be pretty easy to clean up. Those little trees near the green can be a little pesky when you're just trying to get your par and get out of the...
This kid's just playing with so much confidence. I mean, that is a nice run from deep on a low ceiling. Awkward little stance here.
I love Simon when he is crouched. He is able to get so much velocity on this putt with that nose-up angle, and he is hardly ever deterred by a bad lie. He is able to find ways to make the putt seem like it's his natural putting stroke.
In this game, preparation is everything. It gives you that edge to become something from nothing. Success is not by accident. Because you know, the course plays no favorites. You know what it takes to be the best. In this game, detail matters. Idio Sports.
I want to try one.
You will. Hole 5, par 4, 695 feet. This is a tight tunnel off the tee and a tight tunnel by the basket. You really need to throw a great drive here to have much chance for birdie. You're not going to be able to play from out of position and still hit this turnover into the tunnel and progress down the fairway. So you'd like to go very long, slightly right of a dead straight shot, but not really right. A turnover with a little bit of fade back or a flip up forehand are probably your best options for getting into birdie territory.
We didn't see anything on this course last year that punished the players with a high scoring average until now. 4.6 average. This one is a potential bruiser. And that's if you don't throw shots like this.
Yeah, that was fantastic. If he didn't bury into that bush, he's going to have a great angle.
Even if he's not buried in that bush, though, I don't know if he's going to have enough space with his arm swing to be able to manufacture an accurate approach. It's really going to be tough to see. Well, I'm interested to see what he's got.
Mm-hmm. This got way up in the air, but the kick down to the ground is fortunate. Should be a par. In all likelihood, it's going to be hard to make birdie from that short.
I mean, I can't imagine that anything is a safe guaranteed par here, just because if you do anything to try to get around the corner and you don't land in the fairway, it's a pitch back out.
It's definitely a situation where if you slam your foot down on the gas, the bogey is really coming back quickly into play. If you try to push it too much, wow, this
needs to
really
go.
nice.
I think he's got a mid-range, and now that. As beautiful as that shot was, his angle from there is almost nothing.
You think? I think he's got turnover backhand from there.
It's just we'll see.
He's going to have to throw, in order to get that angle correct, he's going to, as we see Gannon try the over the top shot. This could be dangerous.
Is a little crazy.
If this works, hats off to you. But if it doesn't, it's just going to be a 5 at best.
If it doesn't have, hats off to you. I don't know what that means, but
I think he said hats off. So if it doesn't work, put your hat on, I think is what.
Keep your hat on.
That's
You're
how the
going
saying
into
is.
strap it in tighter.
Yeah.
One more little buckle.
Definitely.
You need a helmet for the protection from all the woods that are about to spack your head.
That's a perfect example
Yep.
of not slamming your foot down on the gas. James could have been aggressive there. He knows that if he plays it just past that little turf tee pad, he's got a very simple shot.
Okay, so this is actually genius from the kid. The reason why is he throws mid-range high. It's not fast enough to get to the wood line. If he throws it perfect, 35 feet. If he doesn't, pretty soft shot going in there. So he did have a angle in there, but he played it perfectly.
Oh, wow. This is a fantastic shot from Simon. And you could really see that he wasn't even able to throw the backhand, having to step out and throw it sidearm, which he's been trying his best to avoid since he hurt it last year. And James, go ahead and mark that down a par.
Great shot.
It's just too easy. So what does Gannon have?
No idea where he is yet. Let's see some context.
yeah.
This is tough.
Nothing. Just nothing. And you have to respect how difficult this rough is when you are off, when you're out of position. You just cannot try to make anything happen.
I think it perfectly illustrates what a tour rookie would normally do from out of position and what a tour veteran would do. And James plays the maybe the more heady golf there and is likely to make a par. Gannon maybe could have made a highlight birdie. You never know. But perhaps too aggressive given the circumstances. See if he can hit another big par putt. Actually, he's closer than I thought. Yeah. See,
Wow.
Disregard what I said.
Everything you said.
I thought he was still 80 feet.
Very easily, this could miss. I mean, he's 1 inch from missing this
Yeah,
and taking
sure.
that bogey that you're talking about
Sure.
to where James is walking up and tapping in stress-free birdie onto the next one.
Great putting is going to erase a lot of mistakes. And Gannon was able to salvage the same score as the rest of the group. And that's Simon with a beautiful drive. Kyle with a beautiful drive. James playing smart golf with a good second and third shot. Gannon, meanwhile, whack, 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 big putt, all square.
Hole 6, par 3, 398 feet straight away. No out of bounds to speak of, but tough rough on both sides. This one is just whatever your straightest shot is at 400 feet. That's probably what you're going to go with. Just try to throw it in there. If you do find those trees on the left, there are tricky putts over there, even from inside the circle.
Pretty soft 400 feet. It plays more downhill than you think. So you're going to see maybe some mid-ranges, a couple fairway drivers, but nobody really pounding the disc down there.
Simon leaked that one a bit right and short, with the angle not being as flat as I'm sure he would like. That's going to be in maybe 50-foot obstructed putt.
Okay, now I want you to notice how Gannon, when he throws, his head tilts a little bit with his backswing. Now watch when Kyle does. It's a half second. Turns around, back at target. And I think that's why he's so accurate with this throw.
James hardly even turns. It's one of the things he says he really tries to not turn his head at all, and he always has his eyes looking forward. It's very. I don't know how he's able to turn his shoulders to do that. Maybe his head can spin in 360 degrees, and he just has amazing neck control. But
You didn't know that about him?
I did not.
Yeah, he does. He has that 360 thing. It's weird.
And not really any good looking drives on hole 6.
It's kind of an awkward distance because you know if you hit your fairway hard, it's going deep. Mid-range, you have to throw it a little too hard, and maybe that's what happened left and right.
Lose a little bit of that accuracy.
I like the hole design. I mean, the 390, 400 foot straight shot, that's a tough shot to throw that should be rewarded with a nice look at birdie.
And if Kale doesn't put a sword in that rock that has nice wood chips around it, he's missing out on a freaking awesome plan.
That seems like a King of the North thing to do up here.
As secretary of the
God.
great putt. I was going to say, as secretary of the forehand committee, please do not put a sword in that rock. That is our fairway.
Well, secretary of the putt has got 3 from nearly 60 feet already this round. He is just stroking the putt. Gannon Buhr, folks.
Incredible.
Good putting will erase bad throws.
If your sidearm's coming anywhere near that rock, you're going to be immediately eliminated from such committee. Nice putt there from Simon, almost getting one to fall. Gannon saving the card with a nice putt. Few lackluster pars, honestly. This is not a fast start for these 4 gentlemen.
Yeah, hole 4, that's the 14th most difficult, so the 5th easiest on the course. Nearly a 2.5 average. That's one you got to pick up.
Hole 7, par 5, 1,111 feet. Our first chance to kind of see the big open air here, and you can notice some of that wildfire smoke in the air. We haven't mentioned that yet. Air quality not fantastic here on day 1. These guys have their choice to go either side of the big lake off the tee to set up your second shot in. You just want to go distance. It's pretty manageable birdie if you're able to do that. You should have 300 or less into the green if you have arms like the guys on this card. Looks like Gannon's going to elect to take that left side. The only thing that can happen here, if it goes all the way to that white wall, you can have an awkward run-up. But I think he left himself enough space. That wall is not out of bounds. It just gets in your footing if you play too safe.
Simon potentially thinking, if he gets a good drive.
What is this? This is going to be the biggest drive ever.
Yeah, so this puts him in a situation where he can actually think about going roller second shot.
That was so aggressive. That was incredible.
And I don't know if he would, if he thinks he can probably just get more distance in the air. But he is putting himself in a position off the tee where eagle becomes potential.
These guys are crazy people.
Yeah, to play all that turn towards the water, those are huge shots.
It was a bit of a headwind when we were on this hole. Was it the same for you guys?
Not much, honestly.
It just a bit is, a bit.
It was just a bit. It wasn't much, but it looks like it's fairly calm for these guys. Trusting the Anheuser angle with any kind of wind, I don't care if it's just a tiny bit, is still so much trust in your shot, especially when you're trying to get nearly 450 to 500 feet of distance off the tee.
Yeah, mine's going swimming with Dave the Diver if it goes into that.
Gannon going really high here. I like this. It's going to go well left, leave him a wide open shot into the green.
It's a good shot right there. He does have the option to go Anheuser, get a little more distance, but playing more consistent shot into a distance, he's definitely going to be able to manage.
Wow,
Here's
this
what I
is
was
just
thinking.
huge.
Yep. Hitting the gap with the Anheuser, that's fantastic.
You're not going to see that many people taking this route where they're going into the Anheuser. That's a top 5% type of power play, I feel like. This is way more common. All he needs to do is swing before that tree. He does that easily. And now this is what we came to see. Is he going to be able to get up there for a putt on the 1,100-foot par 5?
Great angle.
Miss the tree.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. And there is a little sand trap at the bottom of this hill, but it is completely safe. So Simon's going to have a complete green light.
That's crazy. Very runnable putt going uphill too.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's like the only issue, I guess, potentially is missing the putt low and then coming back and having the disc roll back to your feet. But
And then what? You have a birdie putt? Oh, cry me a river, you know?
right. And I mean, Gannon throws it so far. Kyle throws it so far. James Conrad it crushes. And Simon just went nearly 150 feet, maybe 200 feet past him in 2 shots.
Those guys had just laser beams in there also from 250 feet. That's also tough to do. I mean, just lasers to match the hill perfectly with the angle.
So important on that steep of a slope. But here it is, Simon.
Is he in the sand? Where is this guy? He is. Wow.
What? Oh, it had the height, just drifted barely right. Oh, that would have been special. 1,111 feet.
I just can't even imagine stepping up to this hole in practice and going, you know, this is where I get the 3. This is eagleable. Like reading the 11-11 on the tee sign and looking at all that water and then going, you know what? If I push it over the water for about 495 and then flex it back late, I should have a super high towering anhyzer that should get me up into the circle 2. I mean, it is
Right.
only 11-11 after all. It's just incredible.
A good star frame from our group. We almost had star frame +1 with Simon's incredible shots there. It's $25 to the Edge Foundation.
One of the signature holes here at the Airborn Preserve, hole 8, par 3, 406 feet over the water with a beautiful little green here. You'd just like to stay on line. Both sides are pretty rough for your putt, so play your hyzer, whatever it is, and try to hit just maybe 10, 15 feet short. That's probably the best place to be.
This one looks like it's got a little action left on it. It needs to sit down.
Unlucky path.
Way too much action.
Even
That's,
a bigger skip.
it was already going to move left. It did not need the cart path. So much space to hang this one out there to the right and just let it stall and hyzer off back to the left. Simon's using a lot of that space there. This is looking quite good. Oh,
What?
okay. I didn't think I'd ever see Simon leave a 400-foot shot 60 feet short.
But he stays in bounds. That was unexpected.
Wow.
Yeah, very unexpected. You really want to take just a fast disc and do kind of what James did here, but all hyzer the whole
pushed,
way.
yeah.
Instead of the straight shot. He's going to have some sort of tricky putt in there. But very surprising to see the mistake so far.
Yeah,
on
not
the
a
card.
no good drives yet.
Yeah, this is just your, a stock 400-foot hyzer.
Too wide, or is it going to swing?
I think it's going to swing. It's a lot
swinging,
of power.
but does it swing before it gets in the woods? It does
little
not.
too wide.
Once again, a lackluster performance from our feature group. Let's see if some of these guys can make up for it on the green. Gannon's been doing his part so far, but not going to have the angle this time. This is the second easiest hole in the course. I mean, for the distance at 400 feet to average 2.44, that's got to be some sort of record for longest hole to average less than 2.5.
2.44?
Unreal. It's unreal. I mean, 61% of the field is birdieing this hole.
At least we get to see some fun putts in the woods. One of these guys has got to make it, right?
Got to.
Not James. Did I say that before or after he missed the putt?
Way before. You hate James. You always have.
Kyle, I love you, buddy.
Oh, he's got the window. Sometimes you love having these windows. Ah, not Kyle, though. My goodness. And this hole nearly had twice as many birdies than it had pars.
That's crazy. This hole, I mean, I know this hole, there's nothing in the way, but still, there's water intimidates people, and 406 feet and a lot of trees.
Yeah.
That is a shockingly low average.
It's a lot of really good disc golf that was not happening on this card. On this particular hole. These guys are still great, no bogey so far, not condemning them in their play. It's just this hole was gobbled up by our field.
This one, I suspect, doing more gobbling
Yes.
because it's 1,499 feet, par 5, over the water to start. One big bush on the right side that you need to avoid. Throw it as far as you can. Throw it as far as you can a second time. Throw it as far as you can
A third time.
one more time.
And then 2 more of those.
See what you can do. This ditch here is out of bounds late in the hole. There's also a cart path on the right side that's out of bounds. So you need a little bit more control on your third shot. The first 2 are pretty much all out bombs.
And if you watched our practice round, we touched on this just a bit, but this is kind of an example of how the landing zone for a professional player, or the expected landing zone for a professional player, has just shifted over the years. That distance maybe was closer to 350 10, 15 years ago, and now it's apparently up to 500 feet that you're expected to throw accurately.
And accurately so far, Gannon showed us a nice shot there, and then Simon just airs right over him, says, see you later.
That's a big drive. Simon can go 550 fairly easily. That allows him to have a modest 400 feet to the pin, and that helps you so much in a hole of this length.
This is not going to turn. And that, I'm going to say that has to take birdie right out of the equation.
Yep.
Right away.
Yeah, you're just not going to be able to get that much speed on your second shot. It doesn't matter how much you can do with your arms and your body. That's just...
Good height. Too much turn.
I don't think there's so much thing as too much turn unless you get in the wood line. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, maybe not the full flight that he wanted, though.
I agree with that.
The roller.
Well,
Maybe he's bringing birdie back into play, folks. Can this
Yeah.
flip up? No, not enough.
if that stays in the short grass, though, you might be right. That could have kept going another 50 to 60 feet.
It's got to get past that tree, doesn't it? Or close to that
Yes.
tree to be in play.
And now he's actually going to have to throw. I don't think he's going to be able to get 500 from there even. So he's going to have a good 350 into the pin.
And that tree that you mentioned, Nate, is perfect because that's actually you can tell from wherever you are on the first 2 shots that tree is nearly 525 feet or so from the pin. So you're trying, like you said, you want to get past that tree to set yourself up with something that's manageable.
Oh, I like this. Oh, he doesn't. Oh, yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah, that's boom sauce.
That's big. Okay, so far 2 options to go for it. Wondering if they will. Smoked.
And I feel like this needs to just get down safe. Like he may be almost pushing up.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So probably 450, maybe just a little bit more than that left for Simon. But that's pretty much just a hyzer for him. James is kind of in no man's land. He's got to, he's playing to the right side, not going over in 3, and that was the smart play there because he can kind of find himself in trouble if he tries to hyzer that back over the creek.
So this is the critical shot. How aggressive do you want to get on the third? Gannon says very. I don't know that he's going to love this result.
Oh, it's way out of bounds.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
the no man's land.
yes, that is out of bounds for him.
So where the bridge is right there that you can see, anything past that on the right side is going to be out of bounds.
Oh, anything right side. That creek doesn't continue. Oh, I see.
Yeah. And big high hyzer for Simon. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Circle 1. That was beautiful.
The crowd loves it. I mean, how could you not? These guys have been marching on this hole for probably 30 minutes. It's so long. It's over a quarter mile.
But we're watching Kyle. He outdrove Simon.
Fantastic. Also, right to the edge of the circle, I got to shout out Albert Bazooka Tom in my group. It's kind of a sad shout out. He went out of bounds on the second shot in that creek. Like, just, I don't know how far that is, but it's very far. He had about 390 to the basket after he was OB in 2.
James Conrad.
Great shot from James.
He's just not going to retire that disc, I guess. I mean, why would you, I guess?
Don't do it.
If he ever loses that in the water, fans are going to just run in face first, dive.
The PDJ will drain the pond. The PDJ will come in. They'll drain the pond. We'll get that thing back. There's, as long as it's not the ocean, we'll get it back.
Kyle from 42 feet for a rare birdie on hole 9. Yes.
Sweet.
Yes. Awesome.
$500, $500, $470.
No. Simon, back. Sit down. Sit down.
Oh, wow. There is a slope over there. If that goes another 10 feet, it could run OB.
Sure. And this is one of the harder par putts you'll have after missing the eagle putt, missing the incredible birdie putt. I mean, the eagle on the last hole would serve essentially just as much as I guess it was 2 holes ago, would serve just as important as making the birdie here. They're both pretty much a stroke on the entire field.
Give me some statistics.
Yeah,
on this
I'm excited and curious.
Kyle, one of 7 players in the field. Ricky, Garrett Everson, Ezra Aderhold, Colton Montgomery, Ben Calloway, and Eagle McMahon.
Certified rippers, everyone.
Certified rippers. And Kyle Klein was the only person to make his putt not inside the circle. The other guys were all inside the circle when they birdied the hole. So those guys can all rip a Frisbee.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's 9 holes. Let's look at the leaderboard. Familiar name, Ricky Wysocki, 7 under with that big birdie. Like you just mentioned, Eagle McMahon as well making the birdie on the 9th. Those guys coming out of the gates quick. Logan Harpool, a bit of a surprise to see him 6 under, mixing it up with all those big names. Some great golf being played out here at the Airborn Preserve. We will be back after we thank the Founders Club for back 9 coverage from the Disc Golf Pro Tour.